Hello, I'm Debbie Reynolds, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can follow me. And today I'm talking about negative self-talk. I see the impact this has on so many people, and about the only good thing we can say about it is that it can be eliminated or at least minimized. Negative self-talk is a huge disruptor in people's lives. It's definitely a battle that I've had to overcome, and I still work on it. And unfortunately, I think it's pretty common. So, do you criticize or doubt and belittle yourself and your own worth? Well, being in the home business industry where people feel more free to admit their struggles because they don't have to worry about being fired, it's a safe place. I hear people say negative things about themselves, and I watch people struggle because of the negative self-talk that's going on in their minds. So what exactly is negative self-talk? Well, I probably don't have to answer that because I'm sure most of you know all too well what it is. And if you're not aware of yours, then you definitely need to become aware of it so that you can work on it. Negative self-talk involves critical or pessimistic inner thoughts that can undermine your self-confidence and your well-being. They are limiting thoughts and beliefs that question our worthiness or abilities. And it's those things that we subconsciously tell ourselves. Many of them started in childhood and come as a result of how we started to feel about ourselves in a certain situation, or perhaps someone said something harsh and negative to us, and we had a highly emotional response or reaction, and we internalized it and we generalized the negative thought, and we started believing something very negative about ourselves that's not even true. And I think the worst for us is when we don't even realize the underlying negative messages that we're repeating to ourselves numerous times each and every day. Okay, here's a simple one. I have a friend who was adopted. So you'd think he would feel great about the fact that a couple truly wanted him and loved him and that he was chosen. Well, instead, he thought that he was unlovable and defective, or else he wouldn't have been given away. And that has impacted all of his relationships, his outlook on life. He's been carrying around deep-seated and subconscious yet untrue negative beliefs and self-talk. And we can all recall instances when negative self-talk was put into action in our own lives. I remember some incidents from my childhood, like the first time I ever made cheerleader in junior high school. It's called middle school today. And I was so excited. And my mother told me when I got home not to talk about it because it might make my older sister feel bad. Well, as a result, her response told me that I was insignificant, that my accomplishments had no value, and that I'm not supposed to shine too brightly. Now, she didn't say those words, but that's the message she gave to my inner self, my little inner child. And I remember other incidents where the subtle and unspoken words the message came to me that I was not deserving or that I was not worthy. And I came from what was considered a good home with good parents. And I'm certainly not blaming anyone. That is not the point. But I think it's important to understand where some of these thoughts come from so we can truly understand them, release them, and replace them with healthy and truthful thoughts. And here's another common one. Many people think earning a lot of money isn't a good thing, or that people with money are bad. And so they subconsciously put their internal brakes on and sabotage themselves when they're on the cusp of making money or having success. After all, who wants to be a bad person, right? Well, why would you even think that? Maybe you grew up around people who had a chip on their shoulder against people who had more. And it was probably their own jealousy or insecurity, but you heard snide comments. Or you might have heard, they're filthy rich. Well, filthy? Well, how negative is that? So you subconsciously make sure that you don't make a lot of money because you certainly don't want to be both bad and filthy. And that seems absurd, right? But it's common. So here you are, all grown up, subconsciously or sometimes consciously, telling yourself that you're unworthy, or you're not enough, or you're not allowed to let your light shine, or that you don't deserve love, or that you're destined to a less than kind of life. And eventually, these lies that you tell yourself become your truth and your reality. Are you getting the picture? Now let's add to that. Our lives are basically driven by our subconscious mind. Only about 5% of 70,000 thoughts a day are conscious, and the rest are subconscious. About 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of our thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday. And you want to throw something on top of that? The subconscious mind doesn't even know the difference between what's true and what's not. So it's going to believe whatever you tell it the most. So what are you telling yourself? And where does that leave you? Well, those thoughts definitely affect our choices and our emotions. Negative self-talk often leads to increased anxiety, to stress, to lowered mood. It impacts relationships and your overall performance. If you're telling yourself, and you guys, I don't even like saying these words because words are powerful, but if you're telling yourself subconsciously that you're stupid, or you're destined to be broke, or you're unworthy, or you're insignificant, or you're never going to succeed, or that you're a loser, and so on, of course, you're going to feel anxiety and stress and depression, and most likely you are not living up to your full God-given potential. So what are you telling yourself? How can you fix it? Recognizing self-talk's the first step. It's awareness. There's strategies like reframing or evidence gathering. Mindfulness can help challenge and change those thoughts that we have, sort of like in my situation. As I said a few minutes ago, the fix is to become aware, to reflect and then release and replace those thoughts with healthy and more truthful, productive thoughts. Since your subconscious is going to believe what you tell it anyway, you might as well just tell it a great story, right? Because it's going to make it true. Seriously, go back to my cheerleading story, where what should have been celebrated was hushed. Now, did my mom's reaction mean in reality that I was insignificant or that I couldn't shine? Well, no, or better yet, hell to the no. But it means that as a kid, I reacted to my mom's unhealthy response, and I internalized and I started believing something about myself that is not true. So how do you fix it? Things have happened in your life that you've drawn incorrect conclusions about that started a full cycle of negative self-talk for you. So you start with this. As those negative thoughts enter your mind, you want to slow them down, turn down the volume, edit, and delete. Replace that negative thought with a positive thought. It does take repeated efforts because negative thoughts are like cockroaches. I mean, they are not easy to terminate. Yet thoughts are things, and thoughts create things. So you want to surround yourself with positive people and positive things so that your mind is continuously exposed to positivity. The more you soak in, the better off you are. You want to think thoughts that serve you and propel you to a higher level and a better version of yourself. Affirmations are great. I mean, tell yourself, I am worthy, I am loved, I am strong, I am an achiever, my needs are important, I am courageous, I am kind, I am helpful, I am making a positive impact, and so on. Write these on your mirror, on your hand, on your wall, wherever you need to. And it may feel uncomfortable to say this at first, but you'll get used to it. You also might make a habit of saying a positive affirmation every time you take a sip of water during the day, or every time you go to the bathroom, or every time you get in your car. Let ordinary activities trigger conscious, positive thoughts. You can meditate to create new neural grooves that play a positive soundtrack in your mind. Or even better, faster, and easier, you can brain tap And if you haven't heard of or tried Brain Tap, then you got to try it. I've got information about that in some of the links below. But anyway, your thoughts will create your reality. The past is behind you, the future is ahead of you, but your power is now. So you got some work to do, right? But you guys, it's so worth it. And I would say it's essential. This negative self-talk can hinder your personal growth, decision-making, your overall mental health. Then think about a shift in thinking and what positive self-dialogue can do for you. With intention, you can create a mental environment in which you can grow and thrive and become all that our Creator intended for you to be. You can feel more confident, more secure, and more capable of creating the life of your dreams. And you know, this world is filled with endless possibilities for you. You just got to reach for them. Become an I can and I will person. You are an energetic, positive, worthy, and capable being. And I genuinely want you to live your best life. I'm Debbie Reynolds. Thank you again for being here with me today. Please hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to talking with you many more times because I want to help you live that best life that you're searching for. Thanks again.